What if I told you some American cities are feared not by enemies, but by the people living inside them? America is often seen as a land of opportunity and progress. However, in 2026, some cities are known less for their promise and more for their fear. These places dominate headlines, spark debate, and raise uncomfortable questions about safety, trust, and survival. Chapter 1. The Reputation Problem. Every city carries a reputation, whether it deserves it or not. Some places are praised as exciting and full of opportunity. Others are spoken about in warning tones, often reduced to a single negative image. Once a city is labeled dangerous, that perception spreads quickly. News stories highlight extreme incidents, while everyday life is overlooked. Online discussions repeat these narratives until they feel like facts. This perception affects everything. Businesses hesitate to invest or expand. Tourism drops as visitors avoid areas that feel unsafe. Residents are judged simply for where they live. Neighborhoods are defined by assumptions rather than the reality of daily life. Small improvements often go unnoticed while negative stories dominate. Public perception can even influence city funding and development. A single viral story can scare away investors or visitors for years. This makes the fight against reputation just as important as fighting crime itself. Chapter 2. Crime that shapes daily life. In cities like St. Louis, Baltimore, and Memphis, crime is never abstract. It shapes routines, choices, and even simple decisions. Residents plan every step carefully. They know which streets are safe, which blocks to avoid. Even the time of day affects where they go and what they do. Parents worry about children walking to school or playing outside. Workers rush home before nightfall. Even ordinary errands feel calculated. Violence affects more than victims. It erodes trust between neighbors. Communities pull inward, leaving streets quieter and public spaces emptier. The reasons for crime are complex. Poverty, underfunded schools, limited opportunities, and decades of neglect all play a role. The challenge isn't collecting data or statistics. It's turning that knowledge into real, lasting safety for residents. Safety becomes a daily negotiation. Residents adapt by forming informal watch groups or adjusting schedules. Even public gatherings are approached cautiously as fear shapes the rhythm of everyday life. The anxiety can subtly affect mental health and social interactions over time. Chapter 3. Cities. People love to hate. Some cities face not only fear but resentment. Chicago, San Francisco, and Los Angeles are frequent targets of national criticism. They are blamed for crime, homelessness, political missteps, and rising living costs. Social media amplifies this. Short clips remove context and exaggerate issues. Whole cities are judged by isolated events. Many critics have never set foot there, yet their opinions feel absolute. Are these cities truly worse, or are they simply more visible? Once a city becomes a symbol in a national debate, nuance disappears. Residents carry the weight of a reputation they did not create. Chapter 4. The Homelessness Crisis. Danger is not always violent. Sometimes it comes from instability and uncertainty. In cities like San Francisco, Portland, and Los Angeles, homelessness is impossible to ignore. Encampments line sidewalks, parks, and transit areas. Public spaces feel unpredictable. Residents experience a mix of frustration, fear, and compassion. Homeless individuals face illness, exposure, and constant uncertainty. The crisis fuels tension across society. Compassion clashes with exhaustion. Solutions are slowed by politics, bureaucracy, and limited funding. When people feel their city is losing control, trust in leadership declines. Fear replaces confidence. Public safety feels fragile. Chapter 5. Policing and broken trust. Police presence affects how safe a city feels. But trust between communities and law enforcement varies widely. Past misconduct and lack of accountability leave deep scars. Residents hesitate to report crimes. Witnesses remain silent. Without trust, policing becomes reactive, not preventive. Crime cycles repeat. Building safety requires transparency, consistency, and time. In 2026, cities experiment with reform, community engagement, and new policing methods. Progress exists, but is uneven and fragile. Neighborhood watches, community meetings, and local programs show promise, yet the scars of distrust remain, shaping daily life and public interactions. Rebuilding trust is often a multi-generational challenge that requires persistent effort. Chapter 6. Economic decline and desperation. Economic health and public safety are closely linked. When opportunities disappear, desperation grows. Cities like Cleveland, Detroit, and parts of Memphis have experienced long-term decline. Factories closed, jobs vanished. Vacant buildings symbolize loss and abandonment. Young people leave in search of stability. Legal paths shrink while illegal alternatives grow. Crime fills the void left by broken economies. Recovery takes years, but the impact of decline is immediate and deeply personal for those who stay. The psychological toll is high. Residents face a sense of stagnation and hopelessness, making it harder to build community resilience. Even cultural and historical landmarks cannot fully counteract the perception of decline. Chapter 7. Media amplification. Media coverage does not create danger, but it magnifies it. One incident can define a city overnight. Footage loops endlessly. Fear spreads nationwide. Some cities become cautionary tales. Others are political tools. Do headlines reflect reality or only extremes? For many, that distinction disappears. Negative coverage is nearly impossible to reverse. Cities struggle to balance the truth with the sensational. Even positive stories are often overshadowed by viral negative events. This affects city morale, civic pride, and even economic opportunities. Chapter 8. Residents caught in the middle. Behind every statistic are real people. Families raising children, workers commuting, students planning futures. Most residents love their cities despite risks. They see culture, resilience, and community that outsiders miss. Living with danger changes perspective. Hope is cautious. Trust is selective. Why stay when others leave? Because home is emotional, not logical. Residents balance pride and fear daily, choosing resilience. Fear accumulates through repeated small moments. Sirens at night, empty storefronts, whispered warnings. Over time, people adapt rather than flee. They memorize safe routes, rely on neighbors, and develop informal survival rules. This resilience comes at a cost: exhaustion, narrowed creativity, empty streets. Safety is not just physical, it is emotional, social, and deeply mental. Without trust, cities cannot fully heal, no matter the funding or technology available. Yet, the love for community, local culture, and shared history keeps many residents rooted. Chapter 9. Attempts at change. Cities are not powerless. Many are fighting back. Violence prevention programs expand. Community groups step in where institutions fail. Technology predicts crime patterns earlier than ever. Some cities see improvement. Others struggle to sustain progress. Change requires patience, funding, and cooperation. All three are fragile but essential. Surrender is not an option for those who call these cities home. Many initiatives are small but meaningful. Youth programs, neighborhood cleanups, job training, and community mentorship. Each step, no matter how minor, contributes to rebuilding trust and restoring hope. Even cultural festivals and local art programs help reestablish a sense of pride. Chapter 10. Why these cities matter. These cities are not failures. They are warnings. They show what happens when inequality, neglect, and fear collide. They expose weaknesses in systems meant to protect people. America's most hated and dangerous cities reflect national challenges. Ignoring them solves nothing. Understanding these cities means understanding America itself in 2026, its strengths, flaws, and responsibilities. It's about recognizing resilience, creativity, and the human spirit thriving amid adversity. These cities are more than headlines and statistics. They are lived experiences shaped by fear, resilience, and survival.